Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be giving you my Virgo December 2019 horoscope forecast, part 2 of 2. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Anyway, people, first thing up is as far as December goes, Venus will be in Aquarius from the 20th until the 31st. So the sixth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, if you're unattached at this time, Virgo, you may connect with an Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Aquarius characteristics. It can be somebody you might meet at your place of employment. It might be your daily routine. It might be your health life, maybe at a fitness venue. It could be something too where you might value a little bit more independence and freedom in your daily routine. It could also be about the enjoyment of perhaps innovation, new concepts, astrology, astronomy, esoteric subjects, things that are unique and unorthodox with electronics, computers, with an aunt and uncle, someone prominent in your daily routine, your health, your employment life, and also about valuing selflessness and service rendered as well in some cases. So those are some ways that this could pan out at this time for you. And it could also be about spending very selflessly at this time on an aunt or an uncle, and maybe even in some cases spending money on an Aquarius health related matter, such as something with the ankles or the shins at this time. So anyway, or some unusual health related matter. Next thing up, Mars will be in Scorpio, so the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, situation with siblings, cousins, neighbors may be a little bit more contentious and acrimonious than usual. It can be a time where there might be arguments connected with jealousy, and a lot of anger connected with really just some vindictive or revengeful anger. It could be a time too where if you're unattached at this time, Virgo, you may connect with a Scorpio sun, moon, or ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Scorpio characteristics. It might be for a sexual liaison. It might be someone you know through some short journeys. It can be maybe somebody in your neighborhood, perhaps maybe somebody from your early education. It could be a childhood sweetheart. And also it could be about where you might be a little bit more disputatious in terms and argumentative at this time, more outspoken than usual, and with a lot of perhaps incisive and very critical type remarks and statements you may be making at this time, since we are talking about Scorpio energy. But could also be you might have a lot of abundance of physical and mental energy at this time, and a lot of energy maybe into the transformation or mechanical, doing something mechanically related, as far as maybe something with short journeys like working on a vehicle. It can be transforming vehicles, such as rebuilding engines, if that is something that you do. There might also be a lot of energy injected into the Scorpio type communication, such as talking about astrology, supernatural, the occult, locksmithing, matters connected with death, deep subjects at this time. Anything that could be Scorpio related. So anyway. Well, the next thing up is Jupiter will be in Capricorn for the majority of the month, so the fifth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, as I've talked about in previous videos, Jupiter could be rather paradoxical. It could be very strongly benign and benevolent, but it could also have a tendency to enlarge and expand. Now, in some cases, this can enlarge and expand some pessimism, negativity, restrictions, limitations. Despondency in matters with love, with romance, your hobbies, your fun, amusement, your enjoyment with children, even in some cases. But it could also expand and enlarge structure and discipline in these matters as well. This could be very auspicious for very planned out, premeditative, conservative type investments at this time, and also for gaining personal popularity in a very methodical, very conventional, orthodox manner at this time. it could be that at this time as well, this could be be injecting a lot of exuberance and enthusiasm into Capricorn related, matter things that are fun, amusing, and enjoying. It could be something connected with sometimes mountain climbing. It could be something of a business or political nature, even information technology in some cases. It could even be enjoying even accounting and doing things that are connected with accounting in some cases, in isolated cases, of course. And in things with timekeeping, whether it could just be timing yourself when you're doing some kind of running or what have you, but anything that could be Capricorn related. So anyway, well, at this time, Saturn will still be in Capricorn, so the fifth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, in some cases, this can manifest in taking care of a sickly or debilitated child or lover. It could be something Capricorn related, such as something with the knees, the bones, the joints, the hamstrings, and maybe making you feel somewhat despondent and melancholy. You might be dealing with certain restrictions and limitations in your love life at this time. What matters with children, matters with your creative endeavors, with something that's fun, amusing, and enjoyable. Your hobbies at this time. It could be a time too where older people might be figuring more prominently in fifth house matters at this time, such as something that you might enjoy doing, your personal popularity at this time. It could also be at a time too where you might be gaining more structure and discipline in your love life and with matters with children as well, but it could also be about more responsibilities to fifth house related matters, such as things that are enjoyable. It could be sports in some cases. It can be matters with children, with lovers at this time. And you might find yourself, if you're unattached at this time, Virgo, where you may connect maybe with an older Capricorn lover at this time for a relationship. It can be somebody that might be a Capricorn sun, moon, or ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Capricorn characteristics. It could be somebody that just may simply be older and mature at this time, and somebody very responsible and orthodox and very consistent. And anyway, well, the next thing up is Uranus will be in Taurus still, so the ninth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, at this time, you might be dealing with some unusual, stubborn, obstinate behavior from in-laws, grandchildren. It can be a time where you might be embarking on some unusual long-distance journeys or doing something Uranus related that's connected with publishing, such as something with computers, electronics, innovation, astrology, astronomy, anything that could be Uranus related, but you also may be more desirous of freedom and independence in what your philosophy can be at this time. Matters with publishing, matters with in-laws, with grandchildren, traveling abroad, and also too, it might be a time where you might develop a very unorthodox philosophy at this time. So those are some ways that this could manifest and pan out at this time. It can be a time too where you might again be dealing with some unusual, stubborn, obstinate behavior with in-laws, with grandchildren. And it can be a time too where you might be doing something Uranus related as far as a higher education course goes. It could be something connected with computers, electronics, astrology, some esoteric subject, something even with aerospace, astronomy, anything that could be Uranus related at this time. And in some cases, this could also manifest in maybe even Taurus friendships that might be more prominent, your philosophical outlook, your religious activities, really in traveling abroad, matters with publishing in some cases, and just in general, really just ninth house matters in general at this time in global communications. So anyway, well, next thing up is Neptune will be in Pisces still, so the seventh house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, you might be dealing with really with certain deception, duplicity in your relationships at this time. It might be a little bit harder than usual to decipher the character composition of others. A grandmother, significant other may be more nebulous and unclear, more so than usual. And might be a time too where you might be getting more involved in like Neptune related forms of competition. It could be something with dancing, poetry, something with the metaphysical, which includes astrology, anything that could be Neptune related, photography, even chemistry, anything that's associated with Neptune at this time. And when we're talking about Neptune astrology, it can also be an indicator where, I mean, we're really at the time where we might feel a little bit more lackadaisical, more about, it's more dreamy energy. We might feel more like daydreaming and fantasizing more in matters connected with the house it's associated with at the time, as opposed to taking action in connection with it. Now, in this cases, that could actually be the propensity for this may increase, especially if it's making an adverse aspect to your natal Mars, Sun, or your ascendant at this time. And even open adversaries and enemies may be a little bit more nebulous and unclear, more so than usual. You might find at this time, Virgo, that your relationships might be dissolving and dissipating at this time. And I mean, I have this placement natally, so for me, I'm constantly, this is like my relationships are constantly dissipating and dissolving. I have other elements in my chart which would take, a 2-hour Gemini moon dissertation to get into, that indicate diminished popularity, but that's another story for another time maybe. But anyway, so those are some ways that this may manifest and pan out. It could also indicate the dissolving or dissipation of maybe a connection with a grandmother, or even at this time you might be dealing with, you might be attracting people, sadly, that might be connected with drugs or alcohol use at this time, more so than usual. Hold on a moment, people. So anyway, last but not least, Pluto will be in Capricorn still, so the 5th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, in some cases, sadly, I know a lot of you don't want me to say the dreaded D word, but I'm going to anyway. In some cases, this could be about the actual or literal death of a child, of a lover at this time. And also adding, sadly, Capricorn, a despondent energy into that mix, so to speak. But at the same time, this could also be just manifest in, it could be the enjoyment in Pluto-related things, such as something with transformation, recycling, astrology, the occult, supernatural, anything that could be Pluto related, and also just guard against power struggles and control issues with children and lovers at this time. Could also manifest in Plutonian type investments, such as something with something nuclear, or something with like a recycling company, or something with anything that could be Pluto related at this time. So anyway, I mean, the only last thing I want to get is, as far as Pluto and Capricorn, the 5th house being emphasized and highlighted, where Pluto is in astrology, a lot of times this could show where we expect certain infallibility, and at times just guard against expecting infallibility with children and lovers at this time. But it could also about trying to attain power and personal popularity, or maybe even the destruction or obliteration of it. But remember that Pluto can also be about revival, rebirth, and regeneration. So if your personal popularity, if you feel like it's being destroyed, it may be revived again at this time. And a lot of this, of course, could be predicated and dependent on aspects as makes the points in your chart. If it makes, say, positive a sextile trine your natal Jupiter, it could be about simply gaining more power through your personal popularity. But say if it makes an adverse aspect to your natal Saturn, you might be getting some more loss in connection with personal popularity at this time. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Virgo December 2019 horoscope forecast, part 2 of 2. And until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.